Hello and welcome to the Heroes of Hyrule channel. If you're new, subscribe. We have an open competition at the moment which you may not know about. We're giving away 2 amiibo cards. There's previous videos about this. We'll put some information again in the description for you. We are also keeping you updated on Zelda news. Myself, my name is darrenseuk. I help my nephew Joshua with his channel, and he usually by the end of the week will post a reply to my video, and this is kind of my way of saying, Josh, get your arse in gear and get something created for YouTube. At the weekend he is due to come and see me, so we will be doing some extra things together. The biggest thing that's come out in this video, and I think it's only about 17 seconds of it and it's very short, is a brief video from what possibly could be coming out in DLC 2. And before I go into that, there's a couple of things I'll be flashing up onto the screen, especially the artwork for the DLC 2 and the Ballad of the Champions. It looks amazing. It's all set after you defeat Ganon. One of the interesting things I saw from the video is that the shrine in the video is orange, whether it's a new shrine or a old shrine that you now have to go back and redo. We do not know. There is very little information out there. The video shows Zelda riding with 2 soldiers, possibly going to the Rito village. It was in the Snow Mountains area, the Hebrew region, and the next bit was visiting the Gerudo city, and you see Princess Zelda in her full garments ready to talk to the Gerudos. So whether it's a quest about bringing everyone back together, or rebuilding, we do not know anything at this stage. A rumour that has been said is that one of the next things to be armours come available is the Wind Waker tunic, you know, the orange one with the lobster around his throat that looks very similar to his current one, which could have been the influence there, but we don't know. But that's more rumour. It kind of got me thinking about what could be coming out. Could they be giving out the Ganon set from Wind Waker, where you've got those big droopy armament robes kind of things, and whether he'd get a Ganon mask. That kind of flashed in my head, thinking that would be really cool. The only thing that Nintendo has confirmed that we are getting is 4 new amiibos, which as soon as the pre-order section turns up, I'll make sure I get one of those pre-ordered, so that way we can unbox them here on Heroes of Hyrule. They look fantastic. I'm still a big fan of the ones they just put out with the Guardian one, which is the biggest one. You've got the opposable legs. It's quite fun. It takes a massive room up in the box I keep them all in. Adding 4 more is going to put pressure. I had some concerns over the Abosa ones because the kind of stands in a wrong position for me, but that's my personal opinion. It kind of got me thinking also as well, what else could they be bringing in? Is going to bring any of the tunics from here Hyrule Warriors, and whether we would get some of the weapons like the fire rod and things like that. Obviously they use those elements in Zelda Breath of the Wild, but we don't actually see any of those weapons. But it'd be cool to see if they bring anything from Heroes of Hyrule in, if they're running out of tunic ideas. And then it kind of got me thinking about the King of Hyrule in Wind Waker and whether that would make a good outfit. I'll show you a picture there. So this weekend, nephew will be really excited. This came through the post, and if nobody knows what this is filament for a 3D printer, and I will do a quick, there we go, it's right next to me. I pretty much finished doing my modifications there, and this is the filament I promised Josh that I would order. There's enough supply so I can do him a pair of yellow Joy-Cons and red Joy-Cons for his toy Switch, which we've done a video on previously as well. This weekend he'll be asking Josh, and this is another reminder to you, Josh, bring the Sheikah Slate and your toy Switch so I can open them up and get the electronics put inside and finish those off. We've still got a lot of work to do on your Sheikah Slate before I'm comfortable in saying it's finished. Let's do a demonstration on here what it can do. It's a glorified foam case for his phone. We put a massive hole on the one side so we can still take pictures. It's like you would in the game. But that's enough said. So what have I been up to in the last week? Except for keeping up to date with the Zelda stuff, I've been 3D printing, but it's all been boring bits. I've printed spool holders for the top, so it's organised and sorted, and I've ordered replacement parts in case anything breaks. I want to be able to keep printing at any notice, and these things need a lot of cleaning, a lot of tidying, and you'll be surprised. And apologise for the redneck. Unfortunately, I took my medication before filming and it makes my skin go nuts. But enough about that. So in the Zelda world, we'll go through the video. Let's Okay, so for a quick end of video update, I wanted to quickly change over the filaments over to the white so I could start printing My Little Ponies. Unfortunately, when I was pulling out the blue, it kind of got stuck and I've had to manually pull apart my printer. As you can see, there's the extruder and there's the hot end, and for what I'm seeing on my current version, see in there, the filament gets caught at the tops and then ends up, instead of pulling out, ends up breaking out, leaving a bit behind. So I'm having to pull it all apart just so I can get an Allen key and force that little bit of filament, oh this is an awful video, back through. As you can see, all that got caught up in there and it needed pushing through anyway. This is highly unrecommended, but I think it's mainly doable because the current hot end I've got and the shaft that holds it is not lined, and I think that's half the problem. So I have actually bought a brand new extruder and a hot end to place on my printer. But before the video ended, I wanted to give you an update on what update's going on, although the machine looks like it's a complete mess at the moment. So originally when I bought the machine, the power area, this is where the mains electric will connect with the printer and go in. So, but what you're seeing is my upgrade. So my upgrade is a switch which turns the whole thing off, and I put in a UK plug and kettle lead to make it safer. And it also means that the electrics and the mains electrics is all covered. So the idea behind this is to transform mains electric, which is definitely down to the right voltage for the motherboard. And let me just reattach, and later this week, now I've got the white reattached, this is going to be replaced because I have found one that has an LCD energy monitor. So I currently live with my parents because of my wheelchair disability, and one of the things that they are worried about is the amount of electric I'm pumping out through this thing. So I've decided to put in an energy monitor so I can track it. And I have also changed from the, oops, careful, it's quite warm, I had a black version of this, and then I bought this one. Unfortunately, not all of them remove all the plastic all the way, and there was a couple of bumps. I've just made a few pinholes to lock them down and make them flat again. They disrupt the base of the print. One of the first things I installed was this chain. Now these cables originally were at the back, and this was a lot tidier. Although this has got to be replaced, I've got a blue version that's got to go on. There's me trashing my room at the same time. One of the last prints I did on the white before I started flicking over to do all the blue was to print this mini Sheikah slate. And again, this is a free design of Thingiverse, and it needs a bit of finishing touches here where it had to print in mid-air, and this is where the She Expects screen would be. But I love the fact that it's got the really detailed design, and I am half deciding whether to give it to my nephew or to give it to one of my nieces so they can actually paint it up and maybe style it the way a girl would, and just see what colours they would choose. I think that'd be a bit of fun. Because you need lots of tools, because I'm at the moment, except for the cash, that doesn't really matter. Get it all the way out. Except for this, which gets off the prints. You need these on a regular basis, and the spring for that's all got to get back on. You need those quite handy at any time. So the first thing print was some tool holders, so they sit there. And last week I printed off the second one, which holds off the clips and the spanner, and started printing reinforcements on the machine. I've seen better ones now, which says A-net A8, which I might update. Next will be to put a brace at the back and the front, because this is only acrylic and it is quite flexible. I've started taking off all the protective coverings. Now it's starting to settle down, but the way I feed the filament in has now been sorted out now, so it's gone up top. As you can see, I have to stand and it's not really easy. Each have, it's easier to show on this side. Each have one of these inside, well, a version of, which sits on here, which makes it easier for them to twist and turn. You can hold more filaments up here, so there's the blue I was just using. This is the filament I'll be using, translucent one, which I'll be using to print the Guardian sword. I've also decided with the Guardian sword I'm going to time lapse with a video on front of it, so I can show you that. And the last addition was this train here. So originally all the cables came over the front or the back, and it looked completely messy. And although I need to print a new one of these, I probably need to shorten it a bit. But the great thing about 3D printers, you can play with them and mess around with them. Getting this on a axle, well, what would you call that? Well, just getting that connected to the side of it, so you can actually pull this away at any time, because when you need to change the filament, things go wrong and you need to get in there. And all this is taken apart at the moment, because I wanted to quickly start changing the filament and start printing the My Little Pony for my niece Lana, and of course the filament got caught in it. I don't really spend a lot of money on filament, which is probably half the problem as well. But I will show you a couple other things I've bought as well in a moment, once I've got this all back together and I've got the print started, although it's quite noisy, but we will have to deal with it. So this is it in pieces, and this is the machine back together, and I've just instructed it to start printing the raft for Lana's My Little Pony. So it's going to print a thin base, which everything will stick to it. I usually just do a rim around the corner, around the edges, just to make sure the extruder's producing filament by that point. But when I tried this last week to do the first bit, there was a bit of a problem, so we'll try a raft this time. It was recommended. So that is now what it's printing. So one of the things I keep leaving out in my upgrades is the fan. Now I've got a semicircle fan which attachment. The one they originally gave me actually broke the fan as I connected it, and I had to replace the fan, but then I just had to do a bit more electronics to get it to work a little bit better. But again, if you're getting into 3D printing, building one and learning how they work is incredibly beneficial, because you soon learn where everything is, what does what, when not to touch it and burn yourself, because I've done that far too many times. That actually probably would produce a decent video if you got to see it, but unfortunately I don't I'm not sure if you're finding this interesting. So obviously it's my niece's one. I've had to keep both my niece's prints very secret from each other, so they don't know what each one has asked for. So I know Lana has hers without wings, and Maddie's has hers spread out with wings. So Lana's should take about 7 hours, which means it is nearly 4 o'clock now, which means I probably won't get to bed till 1 o'clock this morning because it is going to be still printing. Earlier in the week I had all the settings and speeds turned up really high, and you could tell it was just far too much for the machine. So I did a job yesterday where I reset all my settings back to the slow speeds, and I think it actually does better at the faster speeds. As I said, I think it needed to slow down a bit, and as you can see it's all very dusty and dirty under here because I haven't cleaned it out under there yet. Unfortunately this is just life of a 3D printer. I also have these metal rulers very handy at any time because you need to make sure everything is level, and with bed leveling it's all very confusing. But this is where the motherboard is, and as you can see it's down there. It was originally in the middle. Because it's all caged up and covered up, I have an external USB extender just to make it easier to do updates and put in the prints. Now the next step will be, which I've started to, unfortunately everything's really a bit of a mess, that's a Raspberry Pi, and I've been doing test connections to see if I can actually use it through Wi-Fi in the house. So that will be the next upgrade, where I stop using this and these 4-5 digits, although the left one never really does anything. So I'll stop using this display and I use something on my laptop, and I think that's going to look amazing. So OMG, Josh just texted me saying video today. My reply tomorrow. So Josh has just confirmed if I get my video up today then he will reply today. So sorry this is a bit off topic and an add-on to the end, and the sound probably sounds very different. I was using a very bad microphone on a camcorder and I'm now using my iPhone. So which do you prefer? iPhone footage? Or would you actually prefer the camcorder footage? I'll be interested to know because we spent a little bit of money on the camcorder. But obviously I'm a big Star Wars fan, and under here you can start to see parts of my Star Wars collection. Trying to lean back and not get my legs in the photo frame. And yeah, so that's 1, 2, and there's one at the end. And my messy room, which still needs tidying up. And as you can see up there, there's one up there. Sarah's not going to be impressed if she can see her face in the video. If I twist around really quickly, you can see the other ships that I have. And my R2-D2 head that's I'm building. And then the Legend of Zelda. And of course I've got, you can't see it really because you can only see the glare from the window. My messy room with all my new bits and pieces that have come through. So if I just jump across to my bed. Okay, so I saw this in. If you ever want to see what Joshua looked like when he was tiny, he'll probably kill me for this. But that's my nephew Joshua on the left, and his dad, my stepdad, and then my legs when I was walking at the end. Look how tiny Joshua was. Sorry to cut that so quickly, but here we go. So this was the new extruder, so all the cables I need for it. This one's a lot brighter in colour. It's a very cheap replica of what I've got, but it is a backup just in case things go wrong. Now I'm not sure whether this is going to work, but I'm toying with the idea of taking my extruder and putting it on top of the machine and just having the hot end in the bottom bit, and upgrading my machine to that level. I would also like to introduce everybody to my best friend really. This is Brambles, and my nieces and nephew would probably call him the strangest dog ever because he growls at and hates everybody, but looking at this footage now you'd think he's the sweetest dog, and he is a rescue dog. We got him, somebody was getting rid of him for £250 and we went and got him. and you can hear him. He's growling at me, and see, now if I stop, see, he loves the cuddles, but he just doesn't know how to act, and he loves me to pieces. So let's give you a bit of a horse story. So when we first got Brambles, he's hiding his tail, as you can see. Now a Shih Tzu's tail should curl up over their back, and when we got him, his tail had been broken in 2 places, and he was the most untrusting dog you'll ever see. And last year he became unwell, and he stopped walking. His back end was all loose. We thought he wasn't going to be able to walk again, and so see, when the tongues come out like that, they're meant to be happy. So we were told that he had to stay in a cage for a month and not move, and they said that his eye was bulging and that he would have to have his eye taken out, and he was pretty much blind in that eye anyway, so there's no, but as you can see, why he's grumpy and growling I do not know. But the only room this dog would lay down and chill out and do nothing in, to the extent that he would rest, turned out to be my room. So look what happened. He now lives in my room. I already have a bearded dragon called Cheek, and a leopard gecko who you won't be able to see because he's nocturnal, called Link, and I have the dog. And luckily, because we locked him in my room for a month and he rested, he's able to walk again, and he's able to growl again, and he's able to be mean again, and my parents always liked the fact that he has me, and that he doesn't, well, he's bitten me 3 times since we've had him, but that's because I've growled him. He's just had his hair cut off a couple of weeks ago, so he's still getting over that shock. And he's growling at me again because he knows he's a good boy. What? I know. He probably wants his cuddle. Should we give him his cuddle? Come on then. So this is Brambles at cuddle time. He's sniffing the camera. So try not to get too much of me, but now he's... Hello Brambles. Say hello to YouTube, Brambles. Now, my nieces and nephew know not to go near him, but he's not sad, he's not threatened, he's not... See, if I stop... Why did you stop? Why did you stop? No. Why are you so grumpy? Why are you so grumpy? Why did you stop? Right, that's enough of me. So this is darrenseuk from the Heroes of Hyrule saying goodbye. Josh will be in the next video. Like, subscribe and comment. We do like reading every comment you put on there. Unfortunately Josh is not on social media, he's just too young, but you can get in contact with me. Happy to chat to anybody. Let us know what you think and we will get back to you. So Josh, over to you.